now we will see how we can create a collectible. So let's move this crystal here. This will be our collectible, and move it up something like that. And all these changes happens in the edit mode, okay? Because the edit mode is where we build. So while we are in edit mode, let me also move this out of this folder. Something like where. Okay, let's change the material first. So this is a very common crystal, nothing special with it. And if we go here and click on glass, we see without me doing anything or change anything, now we have a very interesting crystal for collectible with all these glass artifacts happening. Of course, now if we want to collect this crystal, our character collect this crystal, of course this crystal should have physical properties. Else it will not, it doesn't matter else, okay, the player will not interact with it. So like we did before, we go to physics, and we go to physical and make this yes. And now our crystal has static properties, okay, and we don't want to be static because we don't want the character to be able to step on the crystal, but we want our character to be able to pass through the crystal so she can collect it. So we change that to ghost, okay, and since it's ghost, it's still we can still have collision events from it. And let's change the collider shape to something like a sphere, and this is ready now. It's ready to do stuff with it. Okay, let's create an animation in animation mode like we did before, and again right click, create animation. And let's make this animation and call it like a hover. Okay, and we first we are going to create a hover animation for this crystal. And like we did before, exactly like we did before, we add this crystal to the timeline. Okay, and in this case, we want our crystal to go up and down. So we add the position Y property. Like we did before, this is the origin, means the current position of the crystal in the y-axis. Let me add a keyframe around here, for example, and let's make this crystal go up by 0.5 units. And let's make this crystal go again down by origin minus 0.5 units. Okay, it's exactly the same result. Let's enable this loop so it works continuously looping. And another one that I forgot to mention before, if we click this origin, this keyframe, you will see there is a transition effect here. And if we click on a linear, you will see some various interpolations. So if we click this, means that we don't have interpolation, or we have a linear interpolation, or we have an ease interpolation. And if you want even more interpolations, you can hover over more, and you can choose anything it fits your effect better. For now, I will choose ease and enter, and I will do the same here, and I will make ease, and I will tell you what this does. And we don't have to add an ease interpolation here because this is the last keyframe. So the interpolation is between 2 points here and here, and here and here. And if we play now, we will see that our crystal has a more smooth movement. And to make it more interesting, even more interesting, we can add a rotation Y. And the rotation Y again is origin to origin plus 360, but now we are referring to angles, to degrees, to angle degrees. Okay. If we play now, we have created a nice crystal with all these colors. Okay. Now how we are going to trigger this animation. Let's go to Triggers tab, and we will add a different trigger this time, the object enabled. So what this trigger does is when the object gets enabled for first time, or it gets disabled, or is continuously enabled. okay, which is what we want. So as soon as this object is continuously enabled, this animation will be triggered and will play. The moment that this object stop being enabled, so will be disabled, this animation will stop. Of course, we need, right now it says no object, so we need this reference to this crystal, okay? And now this animation is done. So let's create another animation now. Again, create animation, and let's rename this to something like collecting, okay? And we import the same crystal again to the timeline. You see the steps is pretty much the same. And what we are going to do here is we want our character to be able to collect this crystal. And how we can collect this crystal is first we are doing the effect of collecting it. And the effect is the crystal should move from its position and go inside our player and get really small and disappear, okay? How we can do this? So first of all, let's add properties for position here, position X, position Y, and position Z. I'm just adding properties, okay? And let's also add scale X and scale Y and scale Z. And all these are set as the previous animation to origin. So let's go around to 0.6 time, and we create a new keyframe. And here we are going to type a special function, and to find this function we will type get, okay, get, and we'll see all these available functions that give us information about something. So let's continue typing, get global to filter these results, and we are going to choose get global position X, okay? And what this function does is to give us information about the coordinates in the x-axis about an object, any object. And to do this, we first need to define which object are we referring to, and we should type it inside these two parentheses. How to define this object? Like we did before, we will type $sign, okay, $sign, and now we can see all these available objects, and we will click on main character. Okay, so now this function will find us the exact position or in the x-axis about the main character, and click enter. And we will do the same, exactly the same, like the position Y. So we do again get global position Y this time. Okay, and again $sign and main character. But we are going to add one unit here because the pivot of this character is down here on the feet, and we want to go around the face or the head. Let's click enter, and exactly the same with the z-axis, get global position Z and $sign again and main character, and click enter. Okay, and now we want the crystal to get really small. So from the current scale, which is origin, it doesn't matter. Origin means the current scale at this time. We want to make it 0. And 0 is for the scale Y, and 0 is for the scale Z. Okay, and now of course the crystal is getting really small, but is not getting disappear. So to make the crystal disappear, I believe that was part of your previous question, Nikki. And so we can click on here and click enabled. So what this does is to make the mesh or this object to disappear. So from yes, we click and we set it to on, to off. So right now we have just make this crystal disappear, but we also need to disable the physics. We want to do this on the first moment of this animation on position 0. Okay, and to disable this, we go to Rigid Body Enabled. We add this property, and we set this to off. And we want to do this because we want our character to only touch the crystal once, so we don't have multiple collision events with the crystal. And just to make things a little bit more interesting, we can add a sound, for example, and we can go there and we can import a sound that we like. So open, and now if we click this, you see that the crystal goes in the character. We will see this in live, in gameplay in soon. So how we can actually trigger this animation, like we did before with the collision event that I showed you. We are going to create a collision event again, and collision started. Okay, and the collision event is between two objects, the main character and the crystal, and they both should have physical properties. Even ghost is a physical property. So let's go to main character as the first object, and the second object should be this crystal. Let's save this, and let's see how it looks this in game. So you see the crystal is going up and down, and it's rotating, and when our character passes through, the crystal disappears and gets in the character, and we have collected.